On September 16th of this year, Dr. Tony Nader, the leader of Maharishi's worldwide Transcendental Meditation movement, made a special appeal, urging 10,000 of the world's experts in Maharishi's Vedic science and technologies to assemble in Hyderabad, India, from December 29, 2023 to January 13, 2024.
We want you to come, to bring your friends. It will be a transformative time for oneself and for society as a whole.
This group of 10,000 yogic flyers represents the square root of 1% of the world's population, the number needed to create the Maharishi effect, the name social scientists have given to the upsurge of positive trends in the world created by group practice of the Transcendental Meditation and TM Cities programs. This is not some fanciful notion. As Dr. Nader pointed out, for 50 years now, we have been demonstrating, as evidenced in 56 empirical studies, this method for neutralizing social stress in all its forms, the stress that gives rise to crime, substance abuse, terrorism, and open warfare. Dr. Nader announced this 10,000 for World Peace Assembly for December 2023 based on the success of the historic December 1983 Taste of Utopia Assembly, held on the campus of Maharishi International University in Fairfield, Iowa, USA. It was the largest demonstration of the Maharishi effect. This short documentary gives a taste of the magnitude of that event.
Mankind sits with a hungry mind, waiting for nourishment, hoping to find something to satisfy, to really fulfill his dreams. And here we come with a golden bowl, dripping with knowledge, a feast for the soul, spoon-feeding man with a message so sweet. So pull up a chair, folks, and get ready to eat. It's a sweet taste of utopia for everyone. Everyone enjoy the sun. Utopia has begun. It's a sweet taste of utopia. The work is done. All the fields are found in one. It didn't surprise anybody at all when over 7,000 Siddhas answered the call. We would do anything to really fulfill this dream. Many are living in mobile homes. They've started a colony next to the domes. Nature's expecting this course to succeed. Group self-referral is all that we need. Sweet taste of utopia for everyone. Everyone enjoy the sun. Utopia has begun. It's a sweet taste of utopia. The work is done. All the fields are found in one. Oh,
It is a joy and happiness of unlimited proportions to have with us the founder of this great university, His Holiness Maharishi Mahesh Yogi.
It's really a very great joy for me today to be in the midst of so many thousands of enlightened men and women in this greatest creative country of the world. I had been wanting to be in this atmosphere for many years. But events take their own time.
But today we inaugurate this great assembly for 7,000 experts of the Maharishi technology of the unified field to solve all the problems of all the governments of the world. Last month, the World Government of the Age of Enlightenment offered to solve the problems of all the governments in the world. But Maharishi said this month's theme is that whether or not they respond to this offer of the world government, we are going to solve their problems anyway.
Sits with a hungry mind, waiting for nourishment, hoping to find something to satisfy, to really fulfill his dreams. And here we come with a golden bowl, dripping with knowledge, a feast for the soul, spoon-feeding man with a message so sweet. So pull up a chair, folks, and get ready to eat. It's a sweet taste of utopia for everyone. Everyone enjoy the sun. Utopia has begun. It's a sweet taste of utopia. The work is done. All the fields are found in one.
It was a great dream and deep conviction of Albert Einstein that all of the fundamental particle forces were unified into a single unified field of all the laws of nature. Although this goal wasn't accomplished in Einstein's lifetime, recent and profound experimental and theoretical breakthroughs have made this realization possible. This year marked the historic discovery of the W and Z bosons, particles which established beyond a doubt the unification of the electromagnetic force with the weak force responsible for radioactivity.
It didn't surprise anybody at all when over 7,000 Siddhas answered the call. We would do anything to really fulfill this dream. Many are living in mobile homes. They've started a colony next to the domes. Nature's expecting this course to succeed. Group self-referral is all that we need for a sweet taste of utopia for everyone. Everyone enjoy the sun. Utopia has begun. It's a sweet taste of utopia. The work is done. All the fields are found
I'm sure that everyone would agree that in the field of introductions, there is no privilege so great or any task so impossible as to attempt to introduce His Holiness Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. To introduce Maharishi to any gathering is to introduce a supreme level of enlightenment that can be enjoyed in this world, and to introduce an individual who, on the basis of the knowledge which he perfectly embodies from his tradition, from the whole Vedic tradition of knowledge, and from his master, His Divinity Swami Brahmananda Saraswati, on the basis of this knowledge, this individual has gathered around him a force, a power of the unified field sufficient to transform the deepest depths of the age of ignorance to the full sunshine of the age of enlightenment. And there is no achievement in the world that could at any time ever in the whole history of mankind be in any way comparable to changing the life of everyone on the planet from suffering and difficulties to fulfillment and happiness and harmony.
It's a sweet taste of utopia, utopia, utopia. It's a sweet taste of utopia. It's a sweet taste of utopia for everyone.
In 74 or 6, the report came from MIU, from this university, from the psychology and sociology department, that the professors have found 4 towns in the neighborhood where crime rate went down. The moment I heard a few people, 1% of the population of the town, practicing in their own homes, create that neutralizing influence for stress and transform the criminal or negative tendencies of the whole population, then I thought the key to create a problem-free world is gained. There is a very great responsibility on the shoulders of every leader, whether he is a leader of a small community or a leader of a big nation or some world leader. Here is a beautiful, beautiful formula for them all, which will give them a very harmonious following. Every head of state will enjoy peace, harmony, progress, support of nature, life according to natural law. All these beautiful things will be enjoyed by the subjects of every government. Completely automatically. What they have to do is maintain a group, square root of 1% of their country's population. Maintain a group, and that group will maintain integrated national consciousness. This is the formula for every administrator in the world.
Sweet taste of utopia. It's a sweet taste of utopia for everyone. It's a sweet taste of utopia.
Now, 40 years later, Dr. Nader is inviting 10,000 experts in Maharishi's Vedic science and technologies to assemble in Hyderabad, India, to show the world once again the extraordinary and powerful positive effects of creating coherence in collective consciousness. The results from the 1983 Taste of Utopia Assembly appeared in the world's leading news magazines and daily newspapers. The announcement of the global assembly of 7,000 experts in the Maharishi technology of the unified field flashed through the media as a grand experiment. Among this experiment's findings, over 60 nations announcing initiatives to improve relations with other countries. The Financial Times of London reported on January 4, 1984, the new year is coming in with signals from both East and West suggesting that the chill between the two power blocs may be moderating. In war-ravaged Lebanon, a significant reduction in hostilities, with calm prevailing in the new year. The Daily Telegram of London reported stock markets throughout the Western world unanimously agreed the recession is over. Recovery is continuing, company profits are blossoming, and inflation is wilting. According to the Times of London, everything suddenly seemed to come together, as though investors everywhere made a New Year's resolution that the recession was over. All of the world's major stock markets boomed during the assembly. New records were set on 8 of the major financial markets, and other key markets soared to unexpected heights. Other signs indicating economic recovery around the world included lower inflation, achievements of economic targets ahead of schedule, and the lifting of economic sanctions and barriers. Soviet Premier Yuri Andropov said, in general, a change for the better has begun to show. And U.S. President Ronald Reagan noted, confidence is in the air, and for good reason. The British Prime Minister proclaimed 1984 is going to be a year of hope and liberty. And in China, the Premier said a new world war can be prevented as long as all peace-loving people unite to work for peace. All of these results and more, including balancing of weather patterns and increased scientific discoveries, were reported in 1,000 articles in over 50 countries. The unprecedented success of the 1983 Assembly established unshakable confidence in the effectiveness of this simple formula to create a problem-free, ideal world. Maharishi Mahesh Yogi said with a permanent group of his peace-creating experts, anything good will rise, and anything that is not good will vanish as the darkness disappears with the first ray of light. So let's gather at the 10,000 for World Peace Assembly in Hyderabad, India. If you're unable to go to India, please join us in Fairfield, Iowa for those same 2 weeks, December 29th, 2023 to January 13th, 2024, and powerfully contribute to the blast of coherence coming from India. Let's celebrate together the 40th anniversary of the Taste of Utopia Assembly. We did it before, we'll do it again. Jai Gurudev.
And we're standing on the doorstep of utopia, where all of our dreams will come true. Yes, we're standing.
Wow, that was some time. How many stalwarts were there, or here I should say, for that course? Wow. Almost everyone, as Maharishi would say. Very, very inspiring. It just takes me back to such joy, that course, every aspect of it. I was quite green at the time. I had arrived at MIU from Stanford University faculty only that fall. I was here for about a week before Maharishi whisked me to Washington, D.C., where there was the extension of MIU there, Maharishi College of Natural Law. And at some point during that remarkable time with him, he came up with this idea. And what happened from that moment was like one continuous 3-week plus 3-week miracle. 3 weeks of preparation to create all those buildings, an entire trailer park, the field house, what do we call it? The giant shed, the Grand Assembly Hall, and hosted, attracted, recruited 8,600 people at its peak, crammed into all possible places, both domes filled, the Grand Assembly Hall completely packed with some of the most extraordinary programs you could imagine. Anyway, we'll have a few quick stories from that as things go on, but I just want to share one. You might have heard it before, because I've said it a few times to different small groups. I was, again, quite green. Maharishi seemed to take to me pretty well. But this amazing course was going on, and I had a lot of opportunity to be with him and talk with him, as we all did. And then we all went into silence on the eve of New Year's Day. Maharishi stayed in silence, as he customarily does, for 7 days or so. But long before the course began, my younger brother was the first of the 4 boys to get married, and he had a very gala wedding planned, and I was in the wedding party in San Francisco. So there we were in silence, and I didn't tell a soul. I didn't have a roommate. And I quickly organized a ticket to go there one day and come back the day after. And I was in the wedding party, and that was all great. And I learned a lesson, a very interesting lesson, a very sweet lesson, really, and it stuck with me ever since. After the wedding, Danny drove off with his bride in a car with cans, and Dad and my 2 brothers started walking around that area. And we had wandered to a place called Union Square. Very nice. We looked for something to eat. It was past lunchtime, and we found a place, and we took a seat. We were just being seated when the waiter came up with a phone in his hand and said, "Which one of you is Mr. Hagelin?" And I said, "We all are, but it might be for me." And I picked it up, and Maharishi's voice was on the phone. "Take her, Dev." He was speaking very softly but very excitedly from silence about some remarkably nuanced aspect of the mechanics of universal being emerging in the form of duality and trinity, I should say, and was relating it, or asking me to relate it to the mechanics of creation from the standpoint of quantum field theory. And I'm there, and I was just clanking a beer bottle down, and I, "Yes, Maharishi, that's absolutely, yes, Jai Gurudev." And from that point, wherever I've been in the world, anywhere, the phone would ring, and it would be him. And at one point, several of us, because I'm not the only one who's had this experience, just said to Maharishi, I hadn't told anybody I was going. How did you find me? And he said, "I just dial something." And anyway, but that deep link that we actually all have with Maharishi on the level of our own pure being, our very self, is one with Maharishi, who is, like all enlightened, and there are not a lot of them, profoundly enlightened people in Brahman consciousness. The knower of Brahm is Brahm. Brahm is that knowledge that an enlightened human nervous system can rise to, which is a birthright of all of us. And so in that deep, quiet moment, I never feel Maharishi is an inch away from me. And I still feel, I know his thoughts, and I don't have to hear any voice speaking. It's just clear what he would do and say. And anyway, that was a wonderful lesson to me, and there's so many other miracles of all kinds that people had on that incredibly powerful, cyclone of coherence that we all created together, and Maharishi himself played certainly a role in that incredible time. Anyway, we have with us, by the way, an absolutely wonderful team that rivals the incredible team that put forth that remarkable Taste of Utopia Assembly, organizing everything so beautifully. And we're going to talk about that. But I just wanted to make a quick pitch, although I don't think it's necessary for those here. We have many more connected to us on Zoom. This opportunity is the only such opportunity that we've had in those 40 years to really exceed the square root of 1% of the world's population, which we will. I haven't heard the very, very latest numbers in India for a few days now, but we're talking about 11,000 people there. And yeah. And at the same time, there are many Americans and Canadians. Canadians are actually at the moment not permitted to go to India. And
And so we are their opportunity, and we are the opportunity for so many of us who can't get away for a range of practical reasons. And Maharishi said from the very beginning, this started around the time of the Taste of Utopia Assembly, no, of the Invincible America Assembly here. So wonderfully supported by Drs. Howard and Alice Settle for so many years, for so many, thousands of people, 2,000 plus people for many, many years here. Maharishi said to Howard Settle, he said, the secret of world peace is I am. And Howard said, ooh, you mean you're being, Maharishi. Maharishi, no, I mean, I, India, and America together will uphold world peace. That on opposite sides of the world, and the nature of these two countries, both remarkable, really, in their creativity, in India's case, deep, deep spirituality from ages past to the present. It's really important that the home of the Veda, generates and enlivens this total knowledge, while the U.S., which is the most important, most powerful world leader, and really controls, either intentionally or even unintentionally, so much of what happens in the world, that we have coherence here as well. And that reinforcement of our smaller group, but big group, and the super group of 11,000 or so in India, is going to be remarkable. And sometimes we have to ask ourselves, well, how much can we accomplish in 2 weeks? I mean, we want the world to see results. We want results, whether they see it or not. We really need results for the world right now, in our own country and everywhere. What can we achieve in that much time? But what this tape showed is something, if you seriously nourish and befriend the laws of nature, the hidden powers that be, that run this show, everything about it, our digestion, our eyesight, our brain functioning, everything is run by devatas, the impulses of intelligence that are responsible for the laws of nature and the functioning of those laws of nature. When you gain the support of the laws of nature to that degree, then things can change literally overnight. Attitudes can change like that. Attitudes drive the economy. Optimism. Attitudes drive human behavior. And really, humans are ultimately at the core of it all, and humans can be influenced, as we know, very powerfully by a group of this size. So anyway, I'm so glad you've come. Anyone who's listening to this broadcast, please commit to coming during this beautiful, quiet time of year, brisk, beautiful, quiet time of year, as it certainly was in 1983-84. Maybe we'll have more support of nature on that level this time. Please come. And there's so many people who are coming that many need homes. Many need places to stay. And back then, people opened up their homes, and they would have lots of people in them. And of course, every room on campus was absolutely bursting at the seams. We won't have to stretch that much. It's not 8,000 we need to accommodate, but we need to accommodate about, we hope, 2,500 people. Some of them, of course, are from this community. But rooms on campus won't suffice for all of that. We need everybody's support. So let me hand it to Ed Malloy, our great chairman of the board of trustees, and the mayor that really transformed Fairfield. An all-around terrific dude.
Thank you, President John. It's really great to see everyone. It was just amazing to see that wonderful film again. So much bliss, enlivened just watching that and recalling the deep experiences that everybody had on this course. The one common theme that came out of that course, I think that you all recall, was our individual appreciation for Maharishi's description of infinite correlation, because everything was so lively at that time. Every desire was filled before the thought was finished. It was an amazing, amazing environment, just incredible. Watching this also, I'm reminded of another quick story. I left my work for a full 3 weeks to work on installing the trailer park, or the mobile homes as Paul Farso was calling them. And it was very cold, as you can all remember, and they were not heated, so it was lively, you know, putting everything together and connecting them all. And then the night that Maharshi arrived on campus, I'm not sure what was really planned at that time, but I know I was going to show up for work. And I showed up for work, and there was no one there. No one was in the trailer park. And I finally ran into someone and said, no, everyone's gone to the Dome. Maharishi's going to the Dome. So I quickly ran across campus and got to the Dome doors, and it was locked up tight. It was just, there was nobody around. And I said, I've blown it. I missed it. You know, Maharishi's arrival. I could not believe it. So I just kind of stood there for a minute or two, and a car pulled up, and out walked Kingsley Burks. And I had not been introduced to Kingsley before. I knew who he was. He'd probably been up for the last 48 hours or more. And I started to introduce myself and explain that I had been working on the trailer park. I didn't have a badge with me. He just went like this, follow me. So I followed him, and we went in and up the stairs, and as I entered the back part of the Dome, which is now where the stage is, that one shot of Maharishi just coming from behind the curtain and arriving for the first time was exactly when I walked through the door. And while everyone was still seated, it was as if we were just looking at each other one-on-one, and then everyone stood up and it all circulated. So it was just a incredible moment. I was here personally in 1980 when the Dome was first opened, so on January 12th, I was part of that first Super Radiance program there and have been committed ever since. It's in everyone's DNA here. It's in the DNA of every Siddha, that experience of coming together and that power of the group practice. It's our life's vision statement and mission statement to create coherence for world peace. We're being given another opportunity to do that as a community. You know we will do this in the most royal way for everyone, and it will produce more stories like this. So really encourage everyone to make every effort to make sure that our own community understands the opportunity that we have, and that we get everyone possible here, all of the Siddhas that live in Fairfield now. It doesn't matter whether they haven't been to a group program in years, it just doesn't matter. We're all, I said, of that same DNA. It's simply for them to make that intention to be a part of this group now. So that is my call and my inspiration to everyone, is to get all of our practicing Siddhas here to join us, and we will have a wonderful, wonderful course, memorable course.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
So I think we've heard quite a bit of inspiration here, so thank you very much, Dr. John and Ed. And I think the key thing that we'd like to share this evening, and I think I'm supposed to introduce myself for those who may be on Zoom. I think everyone pretty much knows who I am, but I'm Candace Badgett, and I head up the TM Women's Organization for Canada and for the United States. So it was very inspiring when we heard from Raja Howard Settle, as John mentioned, when he was asking what will it take to really transform the world? Do we need a group in every single country? And that's when Maharishi said, I am, I am. So India and America. So we have a big responsibility to hold up one half of that request. And as Ed was just saying, our numbers are looking very good here for us to do that, because we certainly want 2,000. That's our goal, and that will give us super radiance for the country, and this is what we would like to see, so we fulfill Maharishi's request. So our numbers are looking pretty good. We have 350 people who have applied, and sorry. 950 people who have applied, and we have another 55 who are taking the flying block, and we'll be doing that during this time on the course. And we have 200 MIU faculty and staff. They don't have to register, so that's just a given right there. And then we also have 170 in the men's dome. They're already registered, of course, and 140 in the women's dome. So we're right there at 1,500. We just need another 500. And I think Ed made a really great point, and that is if we just remind everyone, I mean, I haven't registered yet. So I know it's so easy to just think, I've got plenty of time. Of course, I'll be here. Of course, I'll be participating. But we actually have to go through the process of registering. So I'm reminding myself tonight and everyone else. And I think we've got a very good percentage of that 500 people right here in the community. I had the thought, if we can just get all the pickleball players to actually register, I think we'll have reached our goal. So all of you who are on the court tomorrow, if you can just remind your fellow pickleball players that they need to register. So then, of course, there are those out in the field. And I know there's been a lot of going back and forth as Canada waits to see, can they get their visas to go to India? So a lot of well, let's wait and see, let's wait and see. So all of you in the field who have been waiting or hesitating, now is really the time so that we can just go into this knowing that we've got what we need to hold up our stick as the M in I am. Okay, so.
Jay Gurdev. I've been asked to sing the Sweet Taste of Utopia song for all of you. I think the main point I would like to communicate about behind the scenes, all of us, the administrators. I worked with Mario Orsatti, and we were in charge of housing for the whole course. It was quite challenging, but the main important point is we were, and of course you heard how people went for days without sleep and hardly eating, and it was true. It's not some fishtail. But the only way that I feel that was possible, I know that for me, what we were able to do what we did was that we were fortunate enough to plug into Maharishi's consciousness, Maharishi's attention. It was like we were plugged into that cosmic generator, and it just sustained us for days. And without that, it wouldn't have been possible. And it was so sublime. It was such a contrast between mothers at home, that inner bliss and stability that came with his attention, and this incredible dynamic insanity on the outside. It was really extraordinary experience, and very historic, and a real blessing to be a part of that. And the bonds of friendship that we made with all of us who went like going through a mighty world war or something. It was really deep bonds were made there, that lifetime bonds that we'll all cherish, those bonds of working closely under all those very interesting circumstances. The first night that Maharishi arrived, Bevan asked me just before he arrived, he was landing at the airport, to run over to the frat 151, where all the renovations have been going on for where Maharishi and all the Indian delegation would be living. And the workers were there. They'd been working 24/7 there, renovating. They did a magnificent job. It was just beautiful what they did. But he said, clear all the workers out. So I ran over there, I think with Roger Kingsley, and we, okay, time to go, pick up the paintbrush and the hammers, and ushered everyone out just before he arrived. And then I went ahead to the dome and went in that main entrance where Maharishi came in just before he arrived, and walked in, and the dome was just packed. There was not a square inch between each person. It was wall-to-wall people. It was remarkable. And when I was on the stage, there was no place to go. There was no place to sit. So I just kind of squeezed in on the edge, by the edge of the stage. And then a few minutes later, and by the way, all the major media was there. There was ABC, NBC, CBS, Iowa Public Television. It was the major media event was there with all the cameras and the reporters. So I just squeezed in on the side of the stage, and Maharishi came in. It was just electric. I think you saw a little bit on, but to be there, it was extraordinary. The waves of bliss that went through that whole building. It was amazing. And I remember Maharishi going, Jai Gurudev, and then I put my head on the side of the stage and I fell sound asleep. I slept through the entire talk. Everybody had left the dome and I was still with my head on. And then all of a sudden, Mario's shaking me, wake up, we've got to go to Atumwa and get Mother Divine. So it was a nice little reprieve there, but we'll save that story for another time. But I remember we had diesel trucks here. Chris Kroll had rented all these U-Hauls, and they all had dinosaurs on them. I'd never seen anything like it in my life. That was new back then, but I'll never forget those dinosaurs. But the diesel trucks had to be left running 24 hours a day. It was so cold, you couldn't turn them off. They'd never start again. So we had diesel trucks down at the motor pool just continually going. And there's a sweet story. Many of you probably know Sama, Professor Bill Sands, great Sanskrit scholar, great sage. Well, he had a mission. He was asked to drive in the middle of the night to pick up a load of sand, and his name being Bill Sands, and the town that he went to pick up the sand was Sands, Iowa. And finally, one other quick story. Do you remember Doug Walker? He's on Purusha now. We called him Vedic Doug Walker. A wonderful human being, a delightful person. He helped us with our housing, and he had this 57 Chevy that he just cherished. He didn't drive it very far because it wasn't in very good shape, but he loved cruising campus on it around town. And this was later on in the course after all the housing was, and I actually was able to go to a meeting. And I remember walking back from the Grand Assembly Hall, the rec center, up Granville where the first frat is. And Doug was coming south on Granville in his car. And back then, Maharishi had encouraged, we had people from every country you could imagine, including a nice contingent from Peru. And Maharishi encouraged all the people to wear their local garb, their native costumes. So there was about 10 Peruvians walking up in front of me, and Doug was coming this way. And it was, as you might remember, it was very cold, and this was a particularly cold afternoon. And so Doug stops his car to say, would a few of you like a ride? And it was like one of those silent movies where everyone moves quickly. It was just, everything's in fast motion. It was like just out of the all of a sudden about 10 people just crammed into his car. They opened the doors. It was packed with Peruvians in their native garb. And Doug was kind of astonished, so he starts driving, and he went about 15, 20 feet, and all 4 of his tires just went flat. And I'm just watching this unfold. And as soon as the tires went flat, they all just piled out and kept walking. It was just, what planet am I on? Anyway, I could go on forever on millions of anecdotes, but time is short. The lighting that we used to light the Grand Assembly Hall for the construction went on to be used for the Super Bowl that year. So that's how massive it was. Okay, Jai Gurudev.
4 or 5 days ago, when Dr. Nader Rajaram was asked what the program was going to be at the India course, he said the program was going to be deep silence. Just focus on experience. It's not about entertainment. It's not about sightseeing. It's really about experience. And of course, there are meetings and so on, but everything is in support of experience. And that's our same thing here. Everything that we do will rotate around experience. It's an extraordinary experience to be having your experiences in such a large group, as people are here describing about being in a group of 7,000 people meditating. Extraordinary. And we'll have a large group, and we really want to take advantage of that opportunity for our own deep experience. So the program will be basically the Invincible America program, as we've had it all along, just like that, rounding in the morning, 5 mornings a week, sharing of experiences with commentary by Dr. Morris and Dr. Burks and so on, 2 days a week, tapes by Maharishi. That's really the centerpiece of the day. That's the morning. We'll have afternoon meetings from 1:30 to 3:30, and we have a beautiful track of meetings running every afternoon for the 2 weeks, just on Ayurveda. So yoga asanas, nadi vigyan, self-diagnosis, diet and digestion, revitalizing yourself in older years, public health and so on from our really top Ayurvedic faculty and Vaidya doctors. We'll have another afternoon track on higher states of consciousness with tapes by Maharishi and group discussions, so a choice. Then we may add other tracks as well. Evening meetings we'll have in the Dome from 8 o'clock, 8:15 to 9 or 9:15. And as part of these meetings, we'll have curated highlights from India, so we'll be connected with them. It won't be possible because of the time difference to really tune in live to them, but we certainly want to see the highlights of what's going on. We'll have TM City program checking available. We'll be celebrating New Year's Eve and January 12th together with the whole community. There'll be a class reunion for all the alumni who will be here. Opportunities to tour the beautiful history of the movement display that our archives department has set up over in the library. So lots of great things to do, but again, the focus is on program. And I think that's it.
Thank you, Craig. My name is Tom Brooks, and the entertainment is now over. Now we're into nuts and bolts. So everyone out in the field especially, if you don't know at this point, and you probably do, but the website for the course has almost everything you could possibly need on it. And you will find that at www.miu.edu/2000-course. miu.edu/2000-course. If you need a final slash. You don't.
SVDU is a slash.
Yeah, oh yeah. One of the things that people are interested in, obviously, is housing. We still have a lot of housing. No one should think in any way that we are full. And there's many avenues for housing. One of the biggest ones is, of course, all of you here in Dolby Hall are going to be taking people into your homes, and 200 people or so from Fairfield are going to India, so we know there are some beds open there also. We're working on that. Margie Wood will go over all of that in a second. That's her domain. But I also want to mention that we have made deals with all the local hotels for affinity course rates. So you can call the hotels, the Border Inn or Super 8 or American and book into there if you want. Ideal Life Campus, the old Pundit campus, has housing available, Vastu Housing. They're renting rooms, so you can go there. Yeah, group program will be out there also. Mother Divine. The Mother Divine has spent a lot of time and energy to prepare rooms for women to go out and stay with them during the course. And they're offering not only Vastu rooms on their campus, but also food and be able to stay there and do program in that atmosphere of Mother Divine. So a nice boost for women if you want to come and do that during the course. And MIU still has lots of housing left. It's, many of you would remember frats. They're now been renovated many times, and they're called residences. But we have single and double rooms in those buildings with shared baths, and they're still readily available. So there's no problem with housing, and everything you need to know about housing is on the website. If you just go to that website and click on the housing button, all of these options unfold with all the contact information and everything is there. I think we still have 4 rooms left at the Raj. 4 rooms at the Raj. Good. So the application for the course is very simple. On that website, there is just a button. You fill out your name and some contact information. You have the ability there to pay for your course fee, and I'll explain that in a second. And then when you're done, you will get a automatic response email that lists the website for you to actually apply for your Dome badge. And the way this all works is that if you have a valid Dome badge now, for those of you here in Dolby Hall, for example, if you have a valid Dome badge that has an expiration date on it that does not expire before the end of the course, then you're all set. You can go to all 3 of the programs, 2 in the morning, we're rounding, and 1 in the afternoon, no fee, nothing more needed. But if you want to attend the afternoon and evening meetings, then we are charging a small course fee to cover our expenses. And that fee is for permanent Fairfield and Maharishi Vedic City residents, $75. And for those out of town for the full 2 weeks, it's $150. Very modest, but that together will help us cover all of our expenses. Is that cheaper than going to India? That's a little cheaper than India, I think. Yeah. $5 a day. So Margie's going to tell about those that are going to take people into their homes, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to talk about food and transportation a little bit.
So it may be true now that we have lots of housing, but we're hoping that that changes because we have so many people coming to the course. And the last few hundred that come, maybe more, would definitely be needing to be in people's homes. So consider it a privilege to have someone come, because without that, we won't be able to save the country. So we have a Gmail address that people can write to, and it's on the website. It's in every single email everyone ever receives from John. It's fairfieldhousing108@gmail.com, very simple. And we are manning or womaning that, as the case may be, keeping track of who's requesting and who's offering housing and matching them up. So far, we're doing very well, have more offers than requests, but we're hoping that that changes after tonight because so many people want to come. We're thinking of making use also of the IAA website. I think there's housing posted on there. And what else do we need to know about that? When people request housing or offer housing, please give as much information as you possibly can. One crucial piece of information is whether you have a car if you're coming, whether you need a car if you're offering your home. Put your address so we know where you live, and also phone numbers. And we'll make this happen. Jai Gurdev.
Okay, now to talk about food for just a little bit. On the website, if you go to the website, there's a food button. There you'll see a long list of every restaurant and food establishment in Fairfield. And it tells a little bit about each one. So if you're coming from out of town, you at least have an idea of what's available and different kinds of food being served. For those that are interested, Annapurna here in Dolby Hall in Argyro will be serving organic vegetarian meals to any course participants that want them. We've set up 4 different meal options to try to accommodate everyone. You can get all meals, you can get lunch and dinner, you can get lunches only, or you can get lunch and dinner minus 5 meals, so you can plan your schedule to go out and have meals with your friends some of the time or something like that. They're all available on the website. You can pay for them on the website. It explains all the meal times, and you can even go in to see the menu there for any day you want. So that's for us. Now, the Annapurna Dining will not be accepting people just walking in and buying one meal at a time. We have no way to plan for how many meals to cook in that scenario. So you have to buy a block, whatever one of those choices you want, so we can prepare the food. And if you are interested in a single meal, then you can go to a restaurant in town, or the Golden Dome Market Cafe on campus will be open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week for the entire course. So you can walk in there and get a single meal at any time as well. Okay? Transportation. The transportation department has set up shuttles from Cedar Rapids SID Airport and Des Moines DSM Airport on both the 28th and 29th of December. These are the most popular dates of people coming into the course. So on the website, there's a transportation button. You click on that, and the times that they will be at those airports ready to bring people back are listed. And so if you can match up your arrival to that, then that's a benefit. If you want to catch a ride back to campus, you don't have to, of course, and they can help you arrange private shuttles as well, as many private shuttle services are active in Fairfield as well. Then likewise, outbound on the 13th of January, which is the travel day of the course, they will be shuttling people to Cedar Rapids and Des Moines the same way, and you can again see all those times. They're all set up on the website. Last thing I will say, we're going to be taking some questions next. Fran is busy checking the chat online, so if you are online, and we know that there are 550 people out there online, if you have a question, put it in the chat, and we'll see if we can sort them into the biggest groups of what people need to know. But if you have a single question, either if you're in this room or online, you can send it to me at tbrooks@miu.edu, tbrooks@miu.edu, and anything that isn't answered or you want to know, we'll send it off to somebody who can respond. Okay. Questions?
Are any questions in the room, in the hall, that haven't been answered, or you just went for? Go ahead. If people have missed this tape, is it recorded?
It is being recorded right now on Vimeo, I think, and it will be posted immediately after the meeting, yeah. So anybody West Coast, any other time this weekend, they can watch this entire thing.
Yes, go ahead. That is a really excellent idea. I don't know if that's been thought through yet. The question for those online, will there be some sort of assistance for those who are coming but who may wish to stay following the course, which is so incredibly welcome? The U.S. needs coherence. I probably don't have to argue that too strongly. And the way to create that coherence is to come and stay. And there's so many people of different ages and so many people approaching retirement ages and so many teaching governors of retirement age that are planning to come and have thought about staying in the Global Peace Village, thought about staying at the Pundit campus, which on one level is very sweet. It's also very cost effective. And in town, of course, there are jobs and opportunities. So yes, let us maybe toward the end of the course, if not before the course, start to put together a package and a program for people who'd like to learn how they could possibly stay, at practically speaking, and support themselves and live and so forth. It's a wonderful idea. I'm very glad you brought that up. Yes. I'm going to let Tom and Craig answer that. We're not encouraging meditators to come en masse because of the limitations on our dining and housing. But there'll be meditators here. There'll be some students will be staying. And so, Craig, have you thought that through, Tommy?
I'll do it. We do have many meditators, of course, in our community, including staff and faculty meditators, many. And we want them to feel very much a part of this course and to be, contributing to the course. They're the future. They're the ones that will become the yogic flyers to make the groups happen. So We have to do that. So we're going to have a group meditation here in this room in the morning and afternoon. They also can buy their little sticker to attend all of the meetings with the rest of the course participants, so that's nice. We won't have it won't be a rounding retreat for meditators, so we're not really kind of promoting it from the field for a lot of people to come, but there is a procedure that they can apply to get a meditator badge so that we can check security for the group meditation as well. So, and Mary, is that on the website now? Yeah, it's all on the website. The group program? We have to talk about that with President Hagelin and the others. We could either have the group meditation here synced with the group meditation, the meditation in the dome, or we could let them sleep in and have it later. We can adjust. I don't know. We haven't decided. So.
Good question, though. So there's a new song by wonderful Paul Farso, who was the Minister of Music and Merriment back in Salisbury so many years ago for Maharishi. He is also not only a great musician, but probably one of the greatest storytellers in the world. And one of these days, maybe on the course, he's going to have to regale us with some of the remarkable stories he's had with Maharishi.
Fairfield's fertile ground. Soon all good will be everywhere, and none good won't be found. The lamp at the door will enable all to see, and invincible America is alive in you and me. Yes, invincible America will rise in unity. All glory, all glory, all glory, all glory, all glory, all glory to Shri Guru Deva. All glory, all glory, all glory, all glory.
All right, we're going to answer a bunch of questions in rapid fire. Tommy.
Well, I can't answer them.
You can't, oh, well, geez, that's scary. Go ahead, what?
Will there be an option to watch the afternoon and/or evening meetings via Zoom?
We weren't planning to answer that today because we wanted people to come here in person. So don't tell anybody that the answer is yes.
Will any transportation be available between campus and the hotels daily during the course?
Hasn't been organized. The hotels may have their own shuttle buses. I'm not quite sure. But we haven't organized that yet. Let's see if there's a demand. If there is a need for that, put it on the website or write to tbrooks@miu.edu.
Is it possible to arrive at the course on January 3rd? So that's a few days late.
Request denied. No, that should be possible. Yes, yes, thank you.
How much time is between morning program and the 1:30 afternoon lecture? How much time is after evening program and the first evening lecture?
You have to answer that.
That depends.
It depends on the length of your program.
Approximately 2 hours.
Yeah.
Approximately 2 hours, yeah.
Will we sync any of our flying times with India?
We tried that. The time difference is perfectly designed to make that very difficult. So what we're going to be doing is between India and the US, we'll pretty much have flying going throughout much of the day.
I am wondering if there are any backjacks to borrow, rent, or buy in Fairfield for the domes. Yes, MIU bookstore.
MIU bookstore. They can also be stolen from others in the dome.
Oh.
No, this would be easy. Amazon, they're on Amazon.
You can get them on Amazon as well for pre-order.
I am only able to arrive 2 days late. How can I get my sticker? Just go to Invincible America Department.
Which is where?
Address is on the website.
Yeah, Gate Ridge Court Building.
Right on our campus.
Yeah. Will there be program at the Peace Palace in Maharishi Vedic City? One for Candace.
Yes, and on the Pundit campus as well, I believe. And for those staying at the Raj, we've created 2 flying halls there as well. So we're doing the best we can to accommodate all those who are staying out in Maharishi Vedic City, just in case it's a little challenging to get to the dome. We'll see how the weather is. Although it looks like I think we're going to be pretty lucky this year compared to what it was like 40 years ago. But still, that impression is so deep in our awareness, we're thinking of all plan Bs for everybody to be able to do program comfortably. So, yes.
Check on the local restaurant list. We'll do that.
Visit Fairfield, Iowa website. We'll have all that information. Restaurants.
Okay.
When will the next TM Cities course be offered after the course? I can't answer that.
Probably late spring, early summer.
Oh, Betsy's here, yeah.
They happen in the field regularly in different parts of the country. We have a number of TM City Administrator teams. They're all fantastic. And they kind of keep going wherever there's a demand. So they're much more readily available than in the past.
What is the procedure for out-of-towners to get their dome badges? So there will be a registration at Gate Ridge Court Building where everything will be taken care of when you arrive at campus.
Is that where you go when you first arrive for everything?
Mm-hmm.
Betsy?
How are you planning to welcome so many
Well, we're having them send their pictures in advance, so the badges will be all made up, and so literally it's 3 minutes and out the door.
And that'll be running for 2 days?
Yeah, yeah. Will any transportation be available between campus and the hotels daily during the course? Haven't set that up at all. We're planning to have some shuttles, so we'll just have to see where people are staying and see if we can work it in, yeah. I'm looking at the dining tab on the website. It's not clear where you go to sign up for one of the Annapurna options. Mary, do you... Yeah. Oh, I think that person answered her own question a little later there.
Don't we do that online?
Yeah, it should be on the website. It should be all on the website. For those living in Vedic City, will evening meetings be offered on Zoom so we don't need to drive on icy roads at night, or else at the Maharishi Vedic City Peace Palace?
Yes.
Yes. Is it possible to arrive at the course on January 3rd?
Arrive anytime.
It's better than the 4th. Please say the website a few more times. Once was not enough. It is complicated URL and most people did not get it.
I'll do it. It's miu.edu/ and if you just put a 2 in and start typing 2000, you'll get the whole URL and it'll open up. miu.edu/2000-course.
Type that in the chat.
Yeah.
Can you type the chat?
I can.
He could type it right into the chat box, but he doesn't want to.
Never mind, I just found the tab to buy a meal plan. Okay, Susan's good. Nice job, Susan. How much time is between morning program and the 1:30 afternoon lecture? How much time is after the evening program and the first evening lecture?
Yeah, we answered
Approximately 2 hours or longer, depending upon the length of your program. You fall asleep, you're out of luck.
Looks like we got it.
Also, will we be meditating at the same time as people in India?
No.
No, we did mention that. It'd be nice if we could do that, but the alternative, because it simply doesn't work time zone-wise, will be to have, as a consequence of that, the meditations going really throughout most of the day and evening, which is also good.
So there are several questions about how, if they were arriving late, how they register. So we're having registration, big registration, on the 28th and 29th at the Gate Ridge Court building, and those are pretty much all day long and even in the evening. If you come later than that, you just go to the Invincible America department in the same building. They have office hours all the time, and they'll register you and make your badge and all of that there. One from, will there be program at the Peace Palace in Maharishi Vedic City, Candace?
Yes.
It's a very good idea. Mayor Ed reminds, for those of us here locally, living locally, who have easy access to Gate Ridge, should do their registration beforehand, so you beat the rush.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit like Groundhog Day on this now. So I think we should probably close for the evening. Thank you so much for coming and for connecting. Big Jai Gurudev to everyone. This is very exciting. It's historic. Let's change the world. Jai Gurudev.